The obstacle is not outside of you, it's part of yourself that you haven't met yet. Most people never become who they were meant to be. Why is it that intelligent people keep repeating the same patterns? Why do people sabotage love, money, success, and opportunities right when it's within reach? My name is Mark, aka Create Lifestyle, and I'm helping people over 50 break out of outdated beliefs so they can create freedom, abundance, peace of mind, residual income, and leave a powerful legacy. Hey, and if you're under 50, this is definitely could be for you as well, because I could help you shave decades off of your evolution and achieving your goals. I call this whole thing breaking out of the matrix. And today I'm going into Carl Jung, the unconscious mind, manifestation, shadow work, something called individuation that Carl Jung came up with, and becoming who you truly are. Now, Carl Jung, he was one of those influential psychologists of the 20th century. He worked closely with Sigmund Freud before developing his own ideas about the unconscious mind, archetypes, shadow work, synchronicity, and individuation. Carl Jung, he believed that human beings are not just physical creatures. He believed that we are deeply shaped by unconscious programming, emotional wounds, inherited patterns, and hidden parts of ourselves that we refuse to confront. And I know I said a lot here, but I think a lot of this resonates because we know that our conscious mind is only part of us. It's only the part that's in this three-dimensional realm. We know that there's another part of us that taps into other dimensions and other realms, and that there's more to our reality than what we see. So our subconscious, it's tapping into these other parts. And then there's even a deeper part of the mind, which is the connection between all the minds, or your higher self, or tapping into your God mind, or infinite intelligence, some call it, or source, some others call it. And this is part of the whole idea of one of the universal laws that says all is mind. So we're all connected, and it's all one mind, according to these psychiatrists and psychologists. And this is ancient wisdom that's been known for thousands of years, that all is mind. As above, so it is below. As it is within, so it is without. So understand that we're dealing with other forces and other things than just what meets the eye. So these obstacles are not outside of us. Carl Jung, he believed that the real obstacle is internal. And one of my other mentors, Jim Rohn, he would say that, he would basically say that if you work on your job, you can make a living, but if you work on yourself, you can make a fortune, alluding to that it's all inside, that we have to change ourselves. We have to work on ourselves. So how do we begin to do this? We can do this by watching these types of videos, having these types of questions that you're asking yourself inside of your mind. It's all inside. Michael Jackson, he even said it. He said he's starting with the man in the mirror, and you got to start with yourself. And that's kind of what this is boiling down to. But understand that most people blame the economy, timing, circumstances, competition. But the deeper issue is our unconscious fears, our unresolved identities, and our hidden self-sabotages. And I've ran into a lot of them over my lifetime that I've been uncovering. One of the main ones was unworthiness. Why do people just settle for a mediocre kind of a life? Why? Because we're trapped in this whole thing that I call a matrix. It's all these forces that are designed to control you and to keep you boxed in. And a big part of this is what gets programmed inside of us at these young ages, from birth all the way up to age 7. So your unconscious mind is running most people. It's your fears, your beliefs, your trauma. It silently influences your behavior, your relationships, your confidence, your success. Your deep desires is a signal. Carl Jung believed that some of these desires come from something deeper than your ego. Your ego, it wants to protect you, and it did, and it served its purpose. But when you step out and try new things, you get pulled back because your shadow is fighting with your ego. So there's this whole thing called the inner me. Think about it, the inner me. We're at war with ourselves, most of us. It's your ego versus yourself. Your ego wants safety, approval, comfort, but your deeper self wants truth, authenticity, expansion, and purpose. So we have this whole thing that Carl Jung, he called your shadow. And the shadow is the hidden parts of you. It's the parts that carry fear, that carry shame, that carry your insecurities, that carry your rejection wounds. It was a song, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and go try again. A lot of us don't try anymore because of fear, shame, insecurity, rejection. Until you confront it, it will control your life in the background. So manifestation without inner alignment, it fails, because most of this manifestation teachings, they only cover our conscious mind. But Carl Jung, he talked about your unconscious mind must align as well. Otherwise, your affirmations, they feel fake. Your visualizations, they feel forced. Your goals, they just collapse under the resistance. You know, it's interesting. How do people break out of this matrix and go on and be successes? What's a success? That's your own kind of definition. But let's just say rich. How do people go out and be rich? What is rich? Again, I guess that's your own definition. You're rich if you're healthy. It depends on how you look at what rich is. Another gentleman, his name is Professor Jung. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but he said there was only 3 ways basically to get rich. And one of them was to go to war. Another one was to kind of move out of your environment. And the third one was to marry rich. So, fellas, that's why the ladies, we're not blaming you. That's why they're looking for somebody who can help them, who can lead, who can take control, and who could show them a better way. So we're not blaming the ladies that want to find somebody that can do these things or help them team up and do these things with them, for them. So fellas, we have to level up. That's what we have to do. Anyway, we got to break this matrix from within. It's your unconscious living. Freedom begins when we consciously stop running from ourselves, fearing our desires, and shrinking down our identities. If I'm making sense, stay with me, subscribe, follow. Another thing that we have to do is we have to find a way to make some money. Yes, we're trained, go to school, get a job. If we wanted a good job, get more school. If we wanted a great job, get even more schooling, and then go on from there, and everything will just be a-okay. But it typically hasn't worked out that way for a lot of people. So another thing that we can do is find a way to create some residual income. I'm working with something right now called affiliate marketing. That's selling other people's products and services on the internet. They're digital products. So this is how we're creating some passive income. If that interests you, just put in the comments passive income and we'll get some information to you. So in closing, your conscious or your unconscious mind is shaping your life. Your deepest desires are signals from your higher self. And this manifestation requires internal alignment. And you must confront your shadow, not avoid it. That's these deep parts of you that we've discussed. So If I'm making sense, again, understand, that the only way out is in. You got to face your unconscious fears, align with your authentic self, and consciously rebuild your identity. And then break out this matrix from within. Again, the only way out is in. Peace, one love, and control your destiny.